Good morning, and great morning, guys. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Exit Strategies Radio Show. Hey, I am your host. That's right. Corwyn J, Melette, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, if this is your first time, yes. Some of y'all, this is the first time you don't mess around and fell on this station at this time. Hey, I just want to first say thank you for the happy accident. Number two, I want to say to you, you are in for a treat because our mission at this show is to empower our community through financial literacy and real estate education. Guys, we're legacy building. That is what we do. We're setting you out to on this amazing adventure called Life from This Place Forward, where you have the opportunity to change the narrative to build and create wealth for your family for generations yet to come. Guys, it's beyond just the punch in the clock. This is about knocking out your dreams. So, guys, I just want to encourage you in everything to pay attention, but most importantly, to engage and act. That's how we achieve that next level. Guys, I want to give a quick shout out to those who listen to us faithfully. Y'all know how I feel about you. You know, I love you. You know, my mom out there in Monkey's Corner all the way to Hollywood, what you don't know good. Y'all amaze me each and every time. Now, y'all know that we have been having some of the most prolific may not be the right word, but we've been having some amazing people, right, on this show that's been giving insight, information, and inspiration to you all. Now, today is no different. Some of y'all like that CEO title, you know, the boss. That's how we like. So we always try to go when we climb the mountain, look, we don't stop till we get to the peak. So today we have with us none other than Gyner Ozgul. Now, Gyner is the CEO, again, the boss of Rafters. And this whole concept and what they're doing in the space that they operate in is exciting to me because for those of you who are always worried about the worst case on your home, they are the solution. So if you all would please just take just a quick moment in your mind, I want you to do this drum roll and I want you to do this hand clap and I want you to stomp your feet and say to Gyner, welcome to the Exit Strategies radio show. Gyner, how you doing this morning?
Very good, Corwyn. Thank you. I'm humbled by what you said. Very, very humbled by what you said. As an immigrant son, I'm very humble when people say that. And I'm very blessed to also just be here in person.
Well, appreciate you. I really appreciate you taking time to be with us today. So, Gyner, you look, you do something, and as I told you backstage outside the studio, that you're bringing something that we haven't had in some time. So, I'm super excited about this conversation today because you are going to address one of the things that people oftentimes have
Mm.
concern with, which is maintenance, upkeep, and some of the other stuff with their homes. So, Gyner, if you don't mind, give our listeners high level overview of who you are and
Yep.
what it is that you and your company do.
Yeah, so I am the CEO of a business called RAFTRx. Our headquarters is in Duluth, Atlanta. I'm sorry, Duluth, Georgia, which is right northeast of Atlanta. Sorry about that. We are a private equity backed insurance based re roof business, which is a mouthful. But the simplest version of that is a lot of times roofs get damaged. If you're in the South, you get hail and wind damage a lot, or some catastrophic event unfortunately happens, like a hurricane comes through. If you're in the northern part of the country, there's ice damming and snow and wind that causes damage, and we help provide solutions to get your roof repaired and or replaced by essentially being the broker of the conversation between the homeowner and the insurance carrier to get your roof repaired or replaced.
You know, one of the things that oftentimes, and for reference, our listenership is broad. We have people that are aspiring to home ownership. We have people that are homeowners. We have people aspiring for real estate investing, and some that are, some are novice, some are very well seasoned. So we kind of run the gambit, the range, if you will, on this show of listener. But all have those same issues. What happens if your company is that intermediary that kind of comes in
Right.
and say, we can help you get your exterior of your home. Now, we might not come inside unless there's something else going on, but we can get this exterior right. We can make sure this roof is repaired if there's an issue. So let's talk about that particular
Yeah.
space, right? First and foremost, why is there a need for this space? Why is there a need for a company such as yours? to operate the way that you do in this particular space?
Yeah, the way I view that is the homeowner, like the roof is the most, to me, is, and of course I have a bias. The roof is the most important part of your home, right? Everything underneath it, both the assets that you own, but more importantly, the people that live with you are protected by that roof every day. So, why is it important? Well, the answer to that is you get a storm coming through, and maybe you get up in the morning and you look out your kitchen window and you see a couple shingles on your backyard, and you know you have a problem. Or worse yet, one of your kids is in their upstairs bedroom and they're seeing a water spot in the ceiling of their bedroom, and you're a homeowner. And you're like, okay, what do I do? Right?
Mhm.
So they're stuck. That epiphany that you have at that point in time is where we like to step in and provide value, right? So you have typically you have a homeowner's insurance policy and you're really unclear with it because it's very long, sometimes very convoluted. You're not sure what's covered, what's not. You're a little scared as a homeowner too to engage your insurance provider and what does that mean for premiums going forward and how's my policy going to get impacted. There is a very gnarly web of questions you start to internalize when the trigger happens, right? We like to say, hey, give us the confidence to walk you through that and help
Mhm.
you through that process. We'll help assess your policies, we'll help work with the adjustments and the adjusters to look at your roof and then come up with a solution for your roof. And sometimes that's repair and sometimes that's replace. But we'll make sure we get your roof taken care of so that you don't have to worry about water or other things getting to your home, that your asset, which is your home, quite possibly in most cases, the largest asset that you own, is well protected.
So here's a reality, and Ghana, you might not frame it this way. The real of the conversation is the insurance company is not in the business of paying out claims. They're in the business of collecting premiums. And in turn, sometimes there's a divide or gap that exists between the consumer who may have just experienced a storm or other something external that damaged their home, and the insurance company who has coverage on it and has the ability to, help fund or otherwise mitigate the cost to repair the home, roof, other exterior facets, etc. So what I heard is you guys really do more of a hands-on approach of, hey, let's assess, let's get in here, let's figure this out, what should be covered, and then you work with the insurance company through their adjuster to determine what needs to be done and how they're gonna and what they're gonna cover being completed. Is that sounds
Yeah.
like a
I roll it up as our at Raptor, what we're working towards is to be the best partner for homeowners and insurance carriers and provide what I'll call an experience that's honest, which a lot of guys probably knock on your door and say, I can get you a free roof. It's the easiest value proposition that they can provide you. But then a year from now, that company's gone. They're what we call the typical storm chasers that go out, a storm happens, they get your roof done, and they're vanished. And then a year from now, your roof leaks, and you're like, what do I do? Because
uh,
that guy isn't even calling me back. So we really want to provide value by giving integrity of our assessment via our project managers to both the carrier and the homeowner and be kind of a real, hey, you need a repair on this and it's repairable. Or no, you need to be replaced because the color's not there, or there's sustainable damage on one side of it because the hailstorm really did a number to your roof. And here's all the pictures that show that our best interest is to take care of the homeowner always, right? So we align with the insurance carrier as a partner to show them the value of what we're trying to do. And frankly, for the insurance carrier, it's also providing the value of now this home has a new roof. And for years and years to come on that policy, they can have a lot of confidence that roof's going to be protected from any further claims.
so as a homeowner, whatever category I am under that auspice, what can I as a consumer do to ensure that I have the coverage that I need? I won't say the best coverage because you need the right coverage, I
Yeah,
guess is
you,
the frame it. So how can a homeowner ensure they have the right coverage that will assist them with exterior and roof repairs?
yeah. What I'd say is for new homeowners, make sure you do have when your inspector comes out to do a home inspection, make sure that they're actually getting on the roof and giving you an actual assessment of the roof. It starts with the purchase of the home. Because if it's a really old roof or a really damaged roof, as a homeowner myself too, you should negotiate that into your purchase price, because the next step of that is you're going to go get coverage. And insurance carriers have a lot of data around the age of that roof. They may not know the condition of it, but they certainly will probably know the age of it. And they're going to give you coverages based on the assessment of the age of the roof. You need to do your homework when you go buy them and make sure you protect yourself. And then I'll also say, as a new homeowner, if you get the value of the roof assessed to the purchase price, use that money to get the roof, not something else, because you're just hurting yourself in the short term, because at some point that roof's going to need to be replaced. If you're an existing homeowner, though, really understand your policy. If you have an agent, go sit down and help them explain the differences in different types of policies, because there are 3 or 4 different iterations of home insurance policies, especially as clauses pertaining to your roof occur, right? So, what is covered in storm damage? What is not covered? How does age impact how much you're reimbursed, as an example? Because there's policies that take the value of your roof and diminish it over time and essentially pay you a percentage of the value if a catastrophic event occurs, right? So, really sitting down with your agent and understanding them. And the best way I give you advice to do that is take a couple of examples with you, write them down. If a hailstorm hit and my roof got damaged tomorrow, what, and we validated it, what would you cover? If a hurricane came through, what would you cover? Let them walk you through those examples so you really understand your coverage, because that's where you're going to feel good as a homeowner that you have the right coverage or you don't. Because an output of that conversation might be, how do I get better coverage?
Thank you. Look, I'm in the profession and I don't believe that I've ever asked that question. Now, I'll say that my insurance guy, my broker, he does an amazing job of explaining things and hey, you need this and you don't need this. And he'll ask questions and ensure that he recommends the coverage or coverage at the level that I need. But I've never ran a scenario with them.
Hmm.
And oftentimes, even now, and you may have encountered this, so many people now just buy insurance. So one, they try to buy the cheapest thing, number one. But number two, they're buying it impersonally. So you don't talk to the agent or the broker. All you do is just fill out an application, give them a little bit of information, and then that's it. And next thing you know, generate a quote, giving you options. And most people again choose the least expensive option and don't really understand the coverage. But calling your agent or broker would be ideal. That I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
5% of the conversation will go a really long way about understanding your coverages and what you should or shouldn't do.
So let's shift this a little bit. Obviously, you guys identified a need in the market. Businesses develop out of in gaps. They don't develop oftentimes. They develop in gaps where there's a gap or an opportunity, if you will, in the market. So what led you to one believe there really was a gap in this space? What kind of drove the creation of and the building, if you will, of Rafters?
Yeah. The thesis of the business, I'm not going to say it's a simple one. It's really data fact driven, right? You hear it in the news all the time. There is not enough homes in America, and
Yep.
homes are continually being built to meet the demand of home ownership in America. So there is a material tailwind of just footprint of homes. And then what I'd also say is the science, again, scientific, the science of weather patterns isn't improving. Like, you can be on either side of the fence of whether or not you agree with global warming, but I will say, in general, weather seems to be getting more chaotic than less chaotic, right? Take the
Mhm.
intersection of more homes and more chaotic weather. The thesis of filling the space of people needing roofs repaired or replaced as an output of weather patterns shows a ton of runway and opportunity for us to go.
Yeah, look here. That's very valid because that's even something I didn't think about. Because you're right. Weather is ridiculous now. Look, we had South Carolina and excuse me, we had a snow in South Carolina this year. Like what? Like in well, hold on. In Charleston, let me be clear. And we ain't talking about a little bit of snow. We talking about enough snow that people stayed home for about 2, 3, 4 days. It was snowed in. Like, wait a minute, what? Definitely weather patterns and weather is completely different than what it used to be. So thank you for pointing that out and giving that insight. So those are the things that our listeners should be paying attention to and thinking about, which is, okay, look, this is different. Now we see more hurricanes and tornadoes. tropical storms on the southeast region, we see more of that. Water, when it freezes, can impact exteriors as well. Things cause things to swell or otherwise detach from one another. So let's shift this yet again. Because oftentimes people, my imagination, Goner, a matter of fact, I'm gonna be me. We don't think about this. Right? So financial planning, like you
Yeah.
own a home, and oftentimes we're reactionary. We need something done. That's when we either begin to set aside for it, or that's when we just take care of it, meaning that we haven't planned for it, we didn't budget for it or allocate for it. What advice do you give consumers on that process? You own a home, you got a $5,000 deductible for a roof replacement for you with your insurance company. What do you advise people on how to navigate that and plan appropriately?
Yeah. Depending on personal choices and materials, but the average roof for just an average home in America is probably going to cost somewhere between 15 and $25,000. Again, the reason the brackets are wide in that range is because it really depends on what you choose in terms of materials. That gives you a sense of the investment of the roof itself. So your point is again, $5,000 deductible, the insurance will cover it, but you still have the 5,000 cover. And if it's an old roof and you just have to replace it, you're going to need liquidity of 15 to $25,000 in order to get that roof done. So what I'd say is make sure you start to plan for that and set it aside, and maybe at least get half of that put away for yourself somewhere. Your home is a really important investment, and at some point you're going to want to sell, right? It's an asset that you're going to sell. And as I started the show with, it's going to come full circle. And your next buyer is either going to come to you and say, give me a discount off the sale price because I'm going to put a new roof on it, or you should put a new roof on it before you sell it, get your value, maximum value, right? So, what I'd say is try to take about half the value of a roof and set it aside as a slush fund over time for yourself. The other half, I would say you can get good interest, low interest loans on home improvements like this. So I don't think you should necessarily put all of it aside. It's like my personal bias there. I think there's a combination of having enough money up front and financing the rest. That's the right mix for yourself. Put a little aside and get up to about 50% of that 15 to 25 value. And I think you'll feel in a better spot if it happens, financing the rest for a couple $100 a month.
Okay, good deal. So let me ask you this one, and this is a slight shift, but I'd like to think it's along the same vein. Some areas, some states, municipalities, or otherwise have programs to offset roof replacements, or I don't, some may do repairs. But how often do you guys work with in those types of programs or those types of, if you will, assistance?
We've run into it, not as frequently as I would have thought as well, but we can definitely partner on things like that in terms of working with municipalities that help with assistance on replacement of roofs. I mean, we've done it. It doesn't show up as much as I wish it would. So
Uh-huh.
if your listeners are listening, feel free to reach out. We're willing to help.
Awesomeness. Awesome. Ghana, we're quickly getting to the end of today's show. So, one, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to drop your contact where people can reach out to you, your company, ask questions, and get connected because you guys are most certainly a resource to consumers. So, where can people reach you at?
RAFTRx, easiest way is to go to our website. We are in about 11 states across the country currently. It's Raptor no e x.com. So RAFTRX.com. It'll show you our coverage areas. And depending on the state you click, you'll get in touch with one of our local brands. We are a local branded business. So different brands in different parts of the country, but we'll definitely put you in contact. Me personally, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very public on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect with me. And if you want to have a conversation, I'm always open to doing that.
Awesomeness, awesomeness. So, Ghana, I imagine, because you've done this for, I think, 20, 30 years from what my notes say. So, you've done this for a while. So my question for you is knowing what you know now and what you've learned, what advice would you give a consumer as it relates to the maintenance upkeep, if you will, of the exterior? Something that you've learned that you noticed from all your years of doing what you've done in this space.
Yeah. So a couple of years in the space, but a professional for many years. But I have been a landlord too and a homeowner. I'd say the number one thing to do is do the upkeep on your roof. It's something we all always ignore. And when I say upkeep, make sure your gutters are clear. If you're scared to do it yourself, hire someone to go clean your gutters, check your roof once a year, give you a visual inspection. They can take pictures on their phones nowadays and text them to you. It's really simple. Really understand the condition of your roof. It's like the simplest way to check in every year to make sure there isn't something going on that you should take care of before it becomes a bigger problem. Because sometimes a $300 repair to one part of your roof can prevent a $15,000 replacement of all of your roof in a couple of years.
Cool, cool, cool. That is great insight. That's very good. Very good insight, actually, Gyner. So, first of all, I want to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to be here with us today. I'd like to imagine you ain't have to climb off of somebody's roof to get down here and deal and do the show today. Theoretically, that's what you did.
Yeah,
You climbed off
yeah,
of somebody's roof, like, hold on, let me get down here on the ground level and see what we can make happen.
yeah.
Want to
My
thank
our workman's comp company might not be happy if they were that still climbing.
That is good stuff. That's good stuff. So again, thank you so much for taking time out to be on the show with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Corwyn. Again, thank you for having me. And again, you can reach us at RAFTRx.com or on LinkedIn. And very humbled to be here. And thank you.
Good deal. So for our listeners, guys, look, you guys know, y'all ain't just started. And for those of you tuned in today for the first time, come back and y'all want to see how it is. Look here, y'all know how I feel. Y'all know what I say. And I always put the two of those things together and I give it to you this way, which is to tell you that I love you. I love you. I love you. And we're going to see you guys out there in those streets.